Yeah. Well, good evening again. I hope people are tuning in. It's Frankston Community Connect live with Glenn Cooper. And I know that I've got a couple of people in the background that'll be helping us tonight. I know Carol, thank you. Is one. Tonight we've got an interesting guest coming on. You all right, mate? So Cameron Oates coming on, and I know that his father will be tuning in as well. But listen, got to have a little rant. I'm disappointed because looks like I'll have to cancel and postpone all the kids' clinics over the next school holidays, which start this weekend. Right, we were hoping to get kids out fishing, but it looks like we'll have to stop it because where they had at 50, now it's back down to 10. So listen, people might agree with me. I don't care if you do or don't, right? But the end of the day is we need to play it safe, right? We need to stay safe. And Victoria is actually not leading the way anymore. We're actually way behind with the COVID. So anyway, that's my little rant, because I'm just disappointed because I just wanted the kids to go out and enjoy themselves and good school holidays. And I can hear Cameron coughing in the background, so I'll get him up in a minute. But anyway, tonight we've got an interesting night. And everyone who does know me, I know I said in the promo, there's no political correctness about me whatsoever. And we're going to talk about something that's interesting. A lot of people don't, it's not always on their top priorities, and that's males' mental health, men with mental health issues, problems, how we suffer, how we are treated. Right? Cameron's got an interesting story, and founder of You're All Right, Mate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Cameron up now and introduce you to Cameron. Here we go. Where are you, Cameron? Here we come. Good evening, Cameron.
Hey, Glenn. How you going? Thank you very much, man, for this opportunity and to share our message with your community. So it means a lot.
Oh, well, mate, it was part of your community because your father and that's your family still live down here, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's where I'm born and raised, down on the peninsula. So yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Mate, it is. Frankston's the gateway to the peninsula.
That's it. You got to get there somehow.
Yeah, some people don't like that me saying that, but we are.
Yeah, no, very true.
Right, so just a quick one. Well, give us the sorry, mate, Cameron Oates story.
Well, my story in a very compressed, I suppose, story would be background as tradie, so air conditioning mechanic by trade, spent over 10 years on the tools, and it was around my mid-20s, I had a bad back injury that sent me down massively, not only physically, but massively psychologically. And that was the worst point of my life, really. I turned to not only pain medication, but also other drugs just to numb the pain, not only physically, but massively in there. And, I was drinking just to numb the pain as well. And it was through that time that my brother Troy actually moved in with me to help me, it sounds silly, but cook meals, clean the house, because I was pretty much bedridden. I'd roll around, and especially for those first few weeks, I was pretty in bad shape, I guess. And then we fast forward until getting myself back on track and getting better. And my therapy at that time was music, which is one big thing that I encourage anyone to shift a state in an instant, is put on some uplifting music or change that what they're listening to has a massive effect on the psychology of the mind. So music for me was therapy, and then that ended up turning into a full-time career for 3 years. And then I fell down into depression again, and what got me out was learning about a little bit about psychology and about the mind, and that led me into becoming a full-time life coach. And then I moved up here to Queensland, and yeah, beautiful Gold Coast. And then while living up here, I got a phone call from my mum, and this is like edged in here, saying, have you heard from Troy? No one's been able to get hold of him. And this was on Thursday, the 16th of August, 2018. And I did what anyone would do. Obviously, started ringing Troy's mates, rang all family members, just, trying to find if anyone had heard from him. And that went into late that night, Thursday night, and I turned to my partner and she said, first off, Cam, you got to stop ringing people. It's like midnight. What's going on? And I said, look, I know something's like this is serious. Like, Troy's not just not picking up his phone just because he doesn't want to talk to me. This is serious. Like no one's heard from him. So I booked a flight for the first thing in the morning, Friday morning. So on the 17th, flew down to Melbourne and then spent the rest of the day all the way into late that night looking for a needle in a haystack, literally. Like I was running around the CBD of Melbourne just with Troy's photo on my phone, just asking random people, have you seen this guy? And, it had escalated to, I was speaking to the police a lot through this time as well. So I knew, obviously, it was to a point that a lot of people are looking for him. And then we called it a night. So that was Friday night, late Friday. And then on Saturday morning, I woke to my phone ringing, and it was the police saying, we've located Troy's car and up at One Tree Hill. Those of you who you probably know, like the 1,000 Steps in Fir Tree Gully. So I rang my other brother, Brendan, and said, mate, we found Troy's car. Let's get up there. We hooned up there in a heartbeat. And then as soon as we pulled up, I was greeted.
Just take your time, mate. Just take your time because it's a hard one. I understand, mate. I've been down the track and I've dealt with people that have actually gone through exactly what you went through, and even now, through right now. So just take a breath.
Yeah,
continue.
No matter how many times I tell this story, it's this this part that always stuffs me up. But I was greeted by like 6 cops, and first off they said, you got to go away, because I think obviously they didn't know who I was. As soon as I said my name, all of them bar one just looked down at the ground and they said, we found your brother. So, and then over weeks and months of just digging a hole, my partner obviously flew straight down that night, and we spent a month down there, and then we came back up to Queensland, and I was just walking around like a zombie. So, we decided, look, let's go back down to family, and that's when we moved back down to Mornington, and it was over this sort of period of Christmas time by now that the idea of, first off, it was a foundation, and then it sort of moved into or evolved into setting up a non-for-profit. And fast forward till now, it's really just now we're officially a non-for-profit. It's taken months and months and months of going through hoops, and as I'm sure you can resonate with, to get that tick. So that actually came through at 6 p.m. on New Year's Eve, which that was the best New Year's gift. And it's all about raising awareness for men's mental health, but really getting blokes just to put up the hand and go, you know what, I'm not all right. And being on the tools for over 10 years, I know how the trade sites are. Suck it up, princess, she'll be right, mate, go have a beer. All those things, which they can be good for mates to catch up, and as long as the conversation gets to a point where someone feels comfortable enough to go, you know what, I'm not all right, and be that listening ear. So that's where we want to sort of, part of our vision is to educate the community of the implications of stress, and to really allow that space so that first off, our mates can feel comfortable to put up their hand, but then secondly, to say, just allow that space to listen.
Yeah, it's so true, Cameron. But it's amazing how, right, in your story, just you personally, right, how your depression, or how you started and how you self-medicated, how you were medicated, and we talked earlier on today, doing a little test run here. Right, we talked earlier on today about, how easy it is, and the reasons we actually jump into, as I told you, 2006, doing security, I broke my ankle, 9 operations, in a wheelchair, in and out of a wheelchair for 5 years, right? I used to get down, but I used to wheel my wheelchair down, or my home help used to wheel me down and leave me at Frankston Piers fishing all day, right? And that used to help me.
Yep.
But we, as men, right, have got to put up that tough scenario. We've got to say, I can do it, mate. And a lot of it is actually our Aussie upbringing.
Yep.
Right? We're supposed to be tough men shearing sheep and putting stays in the middle of paddocks, and riding Harleys and
yeah.
Come on, once.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
But we're all supposed to be toughies. But to be honest, right, even going back in the 30s, the 20s, the years of the Depression, after World War One, after World War Two, men's health was pretty bad, and we just used to have to cover it up, go out, fend for the family, and to just hide all our feelings, right? And like I said, they can start from anywhere, as you, right? Was it only just because of your work accident that you were down, or for your childhood or anything like that? How did you handle it?
No, well, as far as childhood wise, no, it was I can't complain at all on that front. But I think I wasn't in a good place anyway. I knew I wanted to do something different with my career, like with life in general. And when the back escalated to an injury, I was already not happy, I guess, being on the tools.
Yeah.
And that was obviously a trigger that escalated those emotions massively, because then I was at home by myself, behind closed doors. So
yeah. Oh, now listen, I know it's a hard one, but you look at your own brother, right? Our organisation, or even before all this, I've had to deal with people that commit suicide, right? Whether it be, if they take their lives, however they do it, whether it be drugs or otherwise, and other means and everything like that. Over the years, I've done a lot of counselling, or grief counselling, in that area, and talking to people. You never get over it, right? You never ever get over it. But your brother wasn't just, as they always say, he didn't come from the wrong side of this track.
No, No.
He wasn't just a person that lived in the streets or had a drug addiction from day dot or or anything like that. Your brother was an extremely successful person. I actually, I don't know him, but I knew of him.
Yep.
Righto. Just explain where he was in his life.
Yeah. Well, successful real estate agent, and a lot of people actually, we, as in when I say we, direct family, didn't even know some of the awards that we found in Troy's house when we, obviously had to go in and get everything. But some of the awards, he was part of Hocking Stewart, and then he gravitated into Buxton, and then actually owning and running his own Buxton as well. But he was like top agent for Hocking Stewart year after year after year, like all these awards that we found, and we were just kicking ourselves going, Troy, like, man, talk about humble. You didn't even let your family sort of know that you're getting these awards. So yeah, he was definitely successful on that front. And I think that's a big realization for a lot of people is that you don't have to be on the wrong side of the tracks. Like there's a lot of successful on the front end people. I always relate this sort of conversation to people like Robin Williams. Here's a person that could go anywhere in the entire planet and be greeted and treated like royalty and takes his life. So it's not always about drugs. It's not always about living on the streets. You could be a very successful person and in here be the poorest person on earth.
Yeah.
So it's really that awareness is you're right, mate, and organisations like you guys and everyone needs to get the message out to everyone and anyone, like in the corporate world, in the trades world, in the wherever.
Yeah, we and like I said, I'm not politically correct in what's any source, and I actually say it as is. I believe in calling a spade, black and white, right, and hitting down straight down the line and everything like that. And mate, over the years, and I see this, and I do know it personally of people going through situations, like how am I going to say this without being offensive? Because I'm not trying to offend this. And another thing is my opinion, right? It doesn't mean that everything's right, that I say. I don't, but my opinion, but I do see it personally. I see a lot of marriage breakdowns and everything like that, and I see men, right, going through that situation where they're going through like a breakdown with their family, breakdown with a wife, right? They've got like they've actually in a place now that they've been taken out of a comfort zone and put into a zone where they don't know where they're doing, and it's so hard to go to someone and talk about how they're feeling. Right, then all of a sudden we know all the other side effects that come from separating and breaking down and everything like that. All right, men need to get up and talk, don't they?
Definitely, and I think you hit it on the head with saying about they don't even know how to communicate how they're feeling because the feelings can be so weird to them because again we've grown up in this suppress that, like you got problems, go have a beer, like she'll be right, all that sort of stuff. And I think, and I'm sure you agree, that it takes more of a man, it takes more guts, it takes more strength and a hell of a lot more courage to actually go to one of your mates or anyone and say, man, I'm dealing with some stuff, like, do you want to hear me out? That takes a hell of a lot more strength than, nah, man, I'm good, and just getting behind closed doors and then, hating yourself. So it's a big flip on, what it actually means to be a man, I believe, is to being open with yourself.
Well, being open with your mates too.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Like you said, you don't like fishing. You reckon it's boring.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know you were going to bring that up.
No, mate, I told you, I call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons, like one of the things that is great about fishing, right? Whether it be fishing, whether it's sitting down in the pub talking with your mate, whether it's going to the cricket, on the way to the cricket, or the way to the footy, or something like that. Something when you're with people. But I see it so often, right, within fishing. Like we'll be down there at the pier having a fish or something like that, and you could tell, one of the guys is going through a hard time. So then, but you know what the beautiful thing is about it? It actually breaks down, and they actually start talking to you.
Yep.
Mate, I know through our organisation, the amount of guys that have actually opened up and they've talked to us.
Yep.
Not only just grown men, but I'm talking about young kids themselves, young 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old guys, right? And it's so important for us people now to actually teach these young people to be able to open up and talk to us. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's again, you hit the nail on the head, and especially things like that, taking them away from how we all connect emotions to outside experiences is when we're in our own house, we have certain thought patterns, we have certain emotions. When we go into our car, we have certain thought patterns, our emotions. And when we're at work, when we're with our close friends, we have certain thoughts, certain emotions that we connect those two together. So, and what you're doing is you're taking that person out of that environment where they've made all these connections to negative events cause negative emotions, negative events cause negative emotions, and they're in this downward spiral. You pick that person up and say, let's get on a boat, or let's go down a pier or whatever and fish out in the fresh air. Not only the massive benefits of getting outside and in the fresh air and all those sort of things, but you're taking them out of their environment where they've connected all these negative emotions to, and putting them into another comfortable environment where they're encouraged to speak up and and share their thoughts. That alone is a massive thing that a lot of people don't make those connections. So one thing is to get that person out of their environment and put them into another comfortable environment, and do that repetitively, and you're going to start to recreate a certain pattern.
That's right. And I like what Russell's just said. We so know how to put a happy face on. It's so true. Like as men, right, we can actually put a face. It's like, like, and I'm going to share something here with you, right? My organisation, right? I'm the president, founder, and righto, and and everything like that. And I'm actually guilty of it. I'm so guilty of it, Russell, and because I really like what he's just put there. And all men are the same, righto. But people like myself, that we've got such a persona around us, right? And we have to be so out there and look like we've got everything together, right? We're not allowed to make, like I was actually talking to some of the people the other day, because I said a few things and I got my say, and like I said, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but most of the time I'm right.
Oh, you sound like me.
But the thing about it is that I forgot the face. Carol keeps sending us attachments. Thank you, Carol. I know. But like the thing about it is putting on another face is that men are so good at becoming chameleons. It's like myself. Right? I was so down the other day, but I had to be a chameleon. Right? Can't share my own feelings, because I've got to look like I'm the right person to actually talk to the other people. Right? But that's just part of the organisation, part of what I do. But we do it in our own personal lives. Men that are married, right? They might be going, but they haven't got the guts or the testicles, because I can't use the other word, right? Just talk to their wife and say to their wife, I feel bad. I mean, can't say to mate, right, at work or where they are, mate, they're just got to have this stupid face on saying, I'm okay, mate. I'm okay, mate. What do you think?
Definitely, and that's all that we stand for, is to change that stigma around all that, and change those beliefs around, again, it takes more guts to actually speak up to your wife or your partner or your kids or your work colleagues or whatever, to actually say, you know what, I'm having a down day. Like I'm not in a good place right now. Tomorrow might be sweet, but right now I'm experiencing this. And it's that suppression of those negative emotions. If we suppress something, it has to be expressed somehow. It's a emotion inside of us. And constant suppression of those emotions, they lead to long-term stress, things like anxiety and depression, and then even worse things of disease of the body as well, because you're suppressing that. You're not moving that energy through you. So, there's massive health implications as well with suppressing our thoughts.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And you're right, because it does affect our health, right?
Hugely.
Right. And we were quickly talking about it this afternoon, but it's something that I used to actually have a little bit to do with dads in distress, and I actually go and have a bit of a talk to men's mental health groups about how to be able to control their mental health, or how to put things into place to try to help them and everything like that. But we're talking about statistics, and right, depression, right, massively, right, when you look. Well, one of the biggest statistics, and what the worst thing about it is, see, women, right, I forget who we were talking about the other day. I was talking to someone the other day. Oh, it's Tim Costello, your patron, right?
Yep.
Tim and I were saying, as he was saying, women, see, women are an emotional being, right? And they know how to predominantly, most of the time, talk out their emotions. They can go to their girlfriends, and as Tim even said, go and have a cup of tea, and 2 hours later, they've actually solved all their emotional problems together, or they tried anyhow, right? But men don't. They hold them in, because we're supposed to be the hunter, the gatherer, right? Not the gatherer, the hunter, and right, we're supposed to be able to control those people. But when we look at our statistics, 6 out of 8 suicides a day are males, because they cannot have the testicles enough to go out and talk to someone and say, help me. True or not?
Yeah, very true. And those stats, that equals around about 3,000 a year. That is for Australia.
Yep.
Worldwide, we're looking at around 800,000. And which you do the maths behind that, and that means every 40 seconds. So I don't know how long we've been actually talking, but every 40 seconds. And then they break that down, and this is all on WHO, or the World Health Organization.org. And they break that down further, and they say, for every one of those people that follow through, there's another 20 that attempt. So, when you break that 40 seconds down, every 40 seconds somewhere in the world, that means every 2 seconds someone is actually getting to a place psychologically in their mind where they attempt, they just don't obviously get that whole follow through. But it's a scary thing to even think. Every 2 seconds someone is getting to that place, and so many of those people are males, but it's just as much, on the female side as well. Like, it's, you're right, mate, is directed more towards the blokes, just because of our stats.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's close to home with my brother, but we've got a lot of females on the page as well, and we get a lot of messages from them in relation to their husbands, or all that sort of stuff. So it's a page that is for everyone, because a lot of the partners, they're women, so wives or daughters or mums or whatever. So it's all just getting that awareness factor out there that, you know what, it's all right that you're not all right. And it's all right to actually put up your hand and ask for help, because there's plenty of places out there that can help. We don't offer direct counselling, but we forward that onto organisations that obviously do.
There was something Bo put up as well. I'll put that. Thanks, Carol. I'll put that that back up in a second. But it's what Bo just said a second ago, righto? And that's so true. Scared of what people will think or perceive us to be. I suppose that's what he's talking about. Or but it is. We're too scared of what people are going to think about us.
Yes,
mate. I don't care.
I think this is where, getting in touch with who you are and as an individual and being okay with that. A lot of times we can look at other people and go, well, I'm not that or I'm not this. But if we're okay in our own skin, in our own body, then, that's where communication can start to flow. But, if I'm not comfortable with me, then I'm not going to ask you for help. Like I'm suppressing those thoughts. I'm suppressing that. Like, I'll just put on a brave face and say, nah, man, I'm all good. I'm tough, whatever.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah.
No, mate, you're singing out of the same hymn book, both of us.
Yeah.
One of the things, and this might get me into trouble, mate, back me up, please, mate. I need backing up on this one. Right. We talk about domestic violence. All right. And that's a real problem, a real problem in itself. I don't, I can't handle men that are violent to women, all right, and things like that. It's just not on. But if a male, right, because basically a lot of violence comes out of suppression of anger, right, unforgiveness to your spouse and your partner, controlling, wanting to be dominant, right, because of that, like not all males, but I'm saying predominantly this is what my belief, my opinion. They're suppressing all their hurts, all their anger, right? They won't talk about it. They won't go to their mate, knock on the block, or even their mate next door or whoever. Won't go and just sit down and talk to someone to get rid of that anger, to get rid of that depression, get rid of that built up conflict that he's got against his spouse or something like that. Because we think it's so not manly, I've got to take control of my whole life, my family, everything like that, right? Because he won't get up and talk. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think.
I think you're completely right, and that's like what I was alluding to before with the suppression of emotions or energy, and that needs to be expressed somehow. And I mentioned like it gets expressed through disease or whatever, physical disease, but it can also get expressed through anger. And if the person in front of us is our wife or our partner or our kids or whatever, and you just get to that snapping point, then it doesn't matter who's standing in front of you. You're going to take out that anger. You got so much stuff built up. But that's where when we're not talking about it, then we can find comfort in things that do suppress those thoughts even more, like drugs, like alcohol, and addictions, because that can take away what's going on in here for obviously all the wrong reasons. But that's where addictions can form so strongly as well.
See, a lot of that is just masking.
Yeah,
it's just only masking the problem, right? Mm-hmm. It's not repairing the hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of men not having the fortitude in the testicles to get up and talk, including myself. But like I said, I'm guilty of it sometimes. I'm
100%. Yeah.
And now, like sometimes, like I'm mate, I'm a lot better than what I used to be. Because I always think that I've got to sort everyone else's problems out.
That's a big weight on your shoulders.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard, mate. It's really hard. I don't. I'm lucky that I've got a couple of blokes that I know that I can actually get on the phone to them and say, mate, listen, this is really peeing me off. and I need to talk, and they're there. And then I'm calm. So once before, I used to have to deal with everything with violence because of my anger, because I wouldn't talk to people. That's a lot of years ago, but that's the way I was because of my background and the hurts and yeah, like we could get into a lot of reasons why people actually bottle things up. Men are the worst. That's what this is all about. Show tonight is about men are the worst of bottling things up. All right, and, whether it be hurts from past and everything like that, which, as you said, just builds up and builds up and builds up and just comes out. And anyway, mate, look, this is great. Mate, if you're happy, we can sit here for another half an hour, keep talking.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to mention as well, because we've talked about all that side of things, but then what are some alternatives? What can actually help us?
So because I'm not.
I only see the ones that you're clicking on, so I see you laugh and then you click.
That's why I stuck it up. You get. Well, I'm not allowed to use the word balls.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was going to actually throw this in the air, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I think today.
Yeah, I'd like to mention, like, some things, I suppose, that people, when I do talks, I give some tools, I guess, what actually people can start to do. And one, obviously, is things like exercise, going outside, going to the gym, whatever it is, moving that emotion inside of us, does massively, beneficial sort of things to our health, and massively, obviously, our mental health with different endorphins and things that get released through exercise. Then things like meditation, things like journaling, getting the thoughts from out here. If you can't actually, if you don't have a friend that will hear you out, or a family member that will hear you out, or you don't have a good network around you, just get them out of here and onto something physical, getting them out onto paper. And then, it's a symbolic exercise, but I get my clients to do it and it works. If it's negative stuff that they're putting down, then screw it up, throw it in the bin, burn it, whatever they need to do. It's symbolic, but it does carry a lot of weight. And, the results, I get phone calls saying, man, that actually, that helped. That really helped. And I'm like, we'll do it again. So, and then if it's good, what they're feeling, put that down on paper and keep it. Read it again and again and again. We want those good thoughts, going over and over. Morning routines, nighttime routines, are so beneficial to have a good, solid morning routine. We've all heard the saying, the way we start the day is the way the rest of the day is going to pan out, because and that's just the way the brain is operating in that morning time, in that evening time. We're so influential to information. So if we're watching negative stuff, or we wake up and we start thinking negative thoughts, then we're conditioning that thought, and we're going to be replaying that thought throughout the day. And so having those good practices, waking up, showing gratitude, looking for things to be grateful for, so beneficial.
Yeah, so important. So I know you can't see what's being written over the other side, but I've got to put it up. Russell, I agree with you. All right.
Grow some basketballs better.
So, but like I said, I can see what's written over here. There's nothing rude or anything like that. But anyway, but look, when I talk, like, as you said, you all right, mate, right? We're predominantly, this is we're talking for men and everything like that. But the thing about it is that women need to pick this up too, right? And, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, right? Well, a lot of us go through so much. We go through so many things. Yes, we're talking about male mental health, male, like that won't talk about themselves, or, are not prepared to say there's something wrong with them. And I like what you said. Your page, right? If Carol could do that for me, is your page. You're right, mate, on Facebook, you have women that are actually talking to you about this stuff as well and trying to get you to talk, or their husbands to talk up. It's so important, right?
Yeah.
To have that bit as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like a lot of blokes, they've got their partner. They've got, and it's the partner that sees probably the worst stuff. That gets the rough end of the stick. So, the partner comes home and he's all frustrated and had a bad day. Who's he going to take it out on? Like, so a lot of the time, the mental health issues from the partner gets transferred across to, or throughout the marriage. And then obviously you've got things like you mentioned at the start with divorce and those sort of things.
Yeah.
So, it's a two-way thing. It's not just men's mental health and that's it. It's definitely, works both ways.
Oh, it certainly does. And like you said, it's so important, like even when, and the people that are on the on that chat bit now, and I'll probably talk to them about, I like what you said about writing things down at a positive, right? A little thing that I've, like I actually do. I talk, when I talk to people, and I actually get them to do, right? And man, if you're listening out there, right, you've got good and you've got bad. And if you've got a piece of paper, right, and you're going through a hard time, write down what's really bad that day, right? Write down the things that have pissed you off all day. Sorry for using that. I'm sorry, ladies. I apologise. But let's be real. The things that have really made you angry, right? Things that are actually hurting you and affecting you through the day, right? Write the bad things down. But write down on the another side of it the good things that actually help you. And then go and talk to someone about it, right? Get on the phone. Ring up, hey, Cameron, mate, I know you're up in Queensland. I know because your dad won't answer the phone. I don't know what he's doing. He must be a Rotary Club meeting or something. But you get up and you say, listen, this is the kind of day I've had. What can I do? Help me. I can't do this anymore. Now, I'm sick and tired of doing funerals, right? Like I think I said to you, this year's been good. I'm lucky I have. But last year, 3 funerals. 2 of them were young males at the age of 20, 21 that had committed suicide. I think the year before that was about 5, right? And as you know, when I was talking to Tim, right, I buried 138 people in 17 years, right? Right, through all this kind of, a lot of it to do with drugs, but they commit, like, just because it's a hard one. Overdosing to me is like suicide, right? If they're sticking a needle in your arm or you're dropping pills and stuff like that because you can't handle life, right? And out all those, I'm sorry, Cameron, but about 130 odd, mate, 70% of those were males, right? So it's, and like this, like I said, this year I've been lucky where I not had to do a few. Plus another thing, we're only allowed 10 people to do a funeral at the moment, so I wouldn't have been allowed to go and do it, right? But I'm sick and tired of going to funerals of men or males and young kids that I know that can't step up and say, I need help. Sorry, mate, I went off the track there a little bit.
No, well, it's the entire conversation. This is what needs to be heard. And it is so frustrating because it's something that shouldn't even exist. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't even be a statistic that I can't express my thoughts. So I'm going to go and turn to XYZ drugs or whatever it might be. So it shouldn't even exist, and that's where us we're trying to get that message out that hey, like it's okay not to be okay, and it takes a hell of a lot of balls and courage to actually say I'm not all right.
Look, another thing that pees me off, right, and this is a good forum because, right, we're not on Channel 7 or Channel 9 getting into trouble over it. But one of the things that pees me off, and we see so much of it, all this money that the government throws around, 60 million towards to mental health, right? 50 million towards, men's mental health and everything like that. But, and I see it predominantly through our charity, right? The people that are actually doing the jobs like yourself that are actually trying to set things up for men to come out and say, you're right, mate. Organisations like that that are actually physically giving something for a man to change his life around. It's not just a man, but everything that we do as an organisation. There are so many organisations out here in Frankston, right, that are giving so much, but we see nothing, absolutely zilch, from local, state or federal governments coming towards the organisations that physically are out there trying to actually change people's lives. Sorry, mate, that's just one of the things that, mate, I see it for you. The battle you have to go through, as you said, to get your not-for-profit, righto?
Yeah.
But you'll have to go through to get your charitable status, as we had to go through to get a charitable status.
Yep.
It really ticks me off. And the government says, we have a problem. Well, they don't say we have a problem without coming to the people that are actually directly dealing with that problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, I'm just, it's really teased me.
No, well, yeah, and it's true. There is a lot of money, that gets thrown around, and especially, we see mental health all over the news, all over, and especially with everything lately. That's the stats are going to be just crazy through the roof. So that's going to be scary to actually those 8 a day in Australia. I dare say. It will be higher, a hell of a lot higher with everything with Corona. So, I think, we're just trying to do our best, the best we can as a team. We've got a good team that I think I see some of the names on the side, so some of them are actually on the call. A good team with us. Yeah, Dad's on here too.
Yep.
So,
and I know Bo, so.
Yeah. Well, Bo's really spreading our message in an amazing way as well. And yeah, we got a lot of people that have jumped on. And the one thing I think that makes me emotional is when people are actually contacting us saying, I want to help. Like, tell me what you want me to do. And Bo is especially one of them. And, Bo and I have had some deep conversations. And, I'm fine talking about Troy and telling, people, look, these issues, talking about statistics and things. But what really makes me emotional is when people like Bo, jump out, or like yourself, and say, hey, we like what you're doing. How can we help? Let us know what, and that's what moves me, and that's what actually drives me more to say, well, whatever we're doing, it must be doing some sort of impact. And I know we are, because of the feedback we get on the Facebook page and things. So I know we are making a small impact, and even if it just gets through to one person, it's well worth the work, and well worth all the hoops that we've got to jump through. Because that means that one mum, one dad, brothers and sisters are still celebrating Christmas as a family, or whatever. And I want to just mention, sorry, Troy's birthday is actually tomorrow. So this live is, and he would have been 42. So it's we're going to be doing a group call as a family, and missing one. So that's another driver behind you, all right, mate, to stop other families going through what we're going through, and so that kids are waking up to their dads, or whatever, vice versa. So,
well, tonight's show is in honour for Troy, then, on Frankston.
Thank you.
On Frankston Community Connect's behalf.
Right. Thank you,
Roger. Yeah, look, mate, I heard around about those statistics on it, about 600 calls on the Mornington Peninsula alone from in Beyond Blue from January to May.
6,000.
6,000 calls. You know, that's a lot just from Mornington Peninsula. And another thing is too, all right, don't go be pinching my slogans either. Right, changing lives one life at a time.
Oh. Did we take that?
No, that's mine. You can't have it.
Oh, okay. I'll do a post on it tomorrow. We might take it because I like it.
Mate, I was actually talking to Tim Costello when he come on, because a lot like you, and this, if you can never take a bit of advice, righto, because like you, mate, when I was your age, you know, you must be in your what 30s,
35, yeah.
35, right? When I was your age, roughly, I was running around trying to save the whole world. I stop every drug addict there was, every street kid, stopping all the youth suicides, the whole lot. And I was actually in Salvation Army uniform at the time. And Major Ted Gray pulled me up aside one day and he said to me, he said, Glenn, you can't change the whole world. You're not going to be able to do it. But if you can just change the one person and save them, as you just said, that this family now can have a Christmas with them, right? They can celebrate their next birthday, right? You've done your job. For years now, that slogan's changing lives, one life at a time, has been my logo over my organisations and what I've been doing. So it's
it's a good thing to live by as well.
Right, extremely grateful to the team and very fortunate to have Tim Costello as a patron. Yes, you know, we actually talk about it, and to reduce incident in suicide. It's such a big thing, you know, like suicide, men's suicide, youth suicide, you know, and even into that scenario, right? As I said, you know, I've done a few funerals, you know, like there was a couple of boys, but there was also a girl, right? She was only 21, right? And that's sad. And I'm sitting there, and after one of them, I was asked to actually have a talk to all the youth. There was about 30 or 40 young people there, and talk to them about the problems of today. And actually, what we're talking about tonight, don't just go home and think that your life's miserable, that your life's at an end, right? That doesn't matter what I do, I'm a loser, I'm a failure. No one is a failure. But no, you know, we're all got our special gifts and our special things that we can personally give to the world. No one, no matter how old, doesn't matter how bad. I'm an ex-crim, right? I've been locked up. I've been in institution and boys' homes from the age of 11 years old. But look at me today. I was in the ministry, right? Was in Salvation Army. You know, we've got an organisation that takes, you know, between 2,000 and 3,000 people fishing every year, changing their lives. So if an old mongrel like me can do it, right, and give this world something to offer, every person, every man, we don't need to go and neck ourselves. Sorry, mate, I'm so aggressive when it comes to people saying they are no good.
Yeah, well, it's not a conversation that you can tiptoe around. And I think, you know, that's probably half the problem. People, it's not dinner conversation. It's not, you know, oh, we don't talk about that. And, you know, even some things with Troy in the months after, people sort of, you know, tiptoed around the conversation. And, you know, that's totally the opposite to what needs to happen. It needs to be, in a way, around the dinner conversation. You know, it needs to be in families that mental health is an issue, and, you know, it takes balls to speak up. It takes courage. It means a man to, you know, to say, look, I'm dealing with some stuff, and, you know, have a good circle of influence around you with your mates or with your wife or your kids or whatever it is. But it's the problem that people tiptoe around it and don't say it how it is. So exactly what you just said. It's a black and white conversation. It's not a grey conversation. It's you have it or you don't. And I think to say it how it is, that mental health is such a huge problem and there's, it needs to change. There needs to be more organisations like yourself, like us. There needs to be, people working together, communities working together, not just to the big boys like Beyond Blue and Lifeline and those things. We need as many as possible. I'm all for, teaming up with anyone and everyone, because the more people that are talking, it's not about us. It's not about, oh, you all right, mate? It's, it's about just everyone talking and getting the message out. And I know, my dad does a lot down in the peninsula with, Chasing Change and, different organisations around the peninsula as well, and goes there, part of you all right, mate, but they're open arms. They're like, yeah, come in. Like, we're all here dealing with the same thing. Like, we're all here to work together. So it needs to be community based, and that's why obviously I love what you guys are doing as well. It's all community.
Cameron, you're so right, mate. And look, I like what Richard has just said. It's the open conversation. Re this hidden issue of men's health. Well done to Bail. Thanks, mate. To Bail, mate, mainly.
Richard's part of our team, so he's a phenomenal guy. He's amazing, and he's helped us so much. So yeah, he's unreal.
There's another one from your dad. Thank you, Glenn, for support, mate. There was no issues about that, because I'm right behind you. And as you said, it's not like, say, you're all right, mate. That's only a little bit of it. That's the thing about fishing. It's not Frankston Community Connect. It's not Beyond Blue. It's all of us getting together. And that's what Frankston Community Connect was actually set up to do, was actually grab people, the communities, right? The different organisations within the communities. Now, like family life, and I've had family on things like that. We need to get organisations working together. That's one of the other things that I do have a problem with. That everyone, a lot of these big organisations want to just go and do their own thing.
You can't segment mental health.
No, you can't. And to get all the money, but they won't come. They don't come to us, who are actually on the forefront of the battle, like our organisation, like you, like what we're trying to do with Frankston Community Connect. We're on the forefront of the battle. We're dealing with, my great team of volunteers. I'd love to know how many people that we've saved lives. I know of 3 men in our organisation, or have been part of us, that have come through us, and one of them's still with us, that we know if we haven't stepped in, they would have been hanging from the rafters, right? And that's a fact.
Yeah.
Right. And, it was only that I knew one of these guys for the last 20, 30 years, right? And he goes fishing, that he actually sat down one day and cried and spoke to me. And that changed his whole life around. Right.
Magic.
And that's what it's all about, my friend. And mate, we could go for ages, but we've been on here for an hour.
There you go. Time flies.
It does. And
well, I'll thank you for having us on, and I'm only a small part of the team. Like, a lot of the guys are on here, so we've got an awesome team. The website is up as well, which is yourrightmate.org. You can also find it at yourrightmate.com, like both of those link. And then you can see the team on there, and background of the team and everything. So I'm only a very small part of You're Right, Mate. But thanks on behalf of all of us.
No, mate, it doesn't matter if you're a small part or a big part. And I look, I know that I've got a north and south. I talk north. Sorry, anyone out there that's young and doesn't understand north and south's mouth. I'm happy to open it up, right? And mate, you are going to get my backing, right? Well, we as an organisation, Frankston Community Connect, whatever we can do to try to make an awareness to your organisation, but more so to the mental health. And I'd love to sit down and actually talk with your dad and see what we can actually do, seeing he lives up the road from me. I know that, we were supposed to go and do a talk at the Rotary Club. I can't remember the bloke. The bloke works for Monash Hospital or something that actually got me to be a guest speaker in May or something. But the Rotary Club here in Frankston, but because of the COVID, it's all been cancelled. But look, there's so much more we can talk about, Cameron.
Yeah.
But
I think the perfect way to end it is just for all the blokes out there listening, and for all the partners of the blokes, and for the actual partners themselves as well. It's okay that you're not okay, and it's totally normal to be in a crap mood. Like it's totally normal to have those moments. What isn't normal and what needs to change is in those moments to actually go, you know what, put up your hand, reach out to a mate or whatever it may be, a mate, a partner, a kid, work colleagues, anything, and just go, man, can we go out for a cuppa or whatever it is for you personally, go watch the footy or go fishing. I just need to get some things off my chest. And so often we don't need to be a coach, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a counsellor or anything to be in that position to ask the question. We just need to be a listening ear, because that person, just by talking about stuff, can a lot of the time, and I know you've experienced it as well, we can solve our own problems if we're just talking about it. It's the bottling up of suppression of little things after little things after little things. Now you've got this huge thing that is going to lead to calling it quits. So asking the question, reach out to all your mates.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, listen, we've gone over an hour, which is it's been brilliant, right? I know it really has it. I think it's an important subject. I'm going to talk to you and your dad and your family personally right at this minute, right? And I've had to deal with this a lot, right, with people. You're going through go through a hard time tomorrow. It's a fact. I know. And grieving, don't ever let anyone say you've got to move on. Never, ever move on.
Yeah.
Right? Never, ever, ever, ever move on, because that was your family. That's someone you loved. They'll always be in your life, right? And yes, the hurt drops a bit, but the love and the grieving never leaves, right? And and what you're doing at the moment is a great medicinal mental health thing to actually to be able to do this. And Troy would be so proud of you and your family. More you, right? Because you're stepping out there and you're trying to help people that have gone through. And we just wish he maybe stood up and called out as well. But something I said at a funeral one day, right? And I know we've gone way over, right? And it was a drug addict. He was a heroin addict, right? And this might sound airy-fairy and churchy. He rang me the night and before all this happened, and he said, Glenn, I'm going out to party tonight. It's my last time, and I'm going to go to church from now on. Anyway, I got a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning. They'd found him dead, OD'd, in the middle of St Kilda. All right. Anyway, the family didn't want all the heroin addicts and street people at the funeral. They just wanted the funeral closed for them. Anyway, I done the funeral. And on that funeral, I said to him, right, you'll understand what I'm coming to in a sec. I said to him, righto, sometimes out of death comes beauty, comes life. I said, take a dirty old garden, right, that's all barren and everything like that. You throw a rose seed into it and you forget about it, but a little bit of rain goes into it, and all of a sudden this beautiful rose grows out of this garden. This is exactly what you're doing at the moment. Out of death comes life. I know. I know that's a little bit, but but it's so true. Out of something like that, so out of death, you are bringing life to men's lives. Right? Only for only one person, you've done it. Right? So,
Yep.
no,
Thank you.
No, absolute pleasure. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Right. And thank you to you and Roger and the rest of your team as well, mate.
Yeah.
And I think we'll do a lot of stuff together in the future.
Definitely.
Righto then, mate. Good night.
Thank you very much, and thanks everyone for joining in. And I do see now. I'm looking on that side. I can actually see.
You can tell. I'm saying you can see
yeah, but I've been paying attention to yourself, obviously, and only reading the ones you're putting up. But I can see the rest on the sides.
But that's what we had a practice for, and I said, look on the right hand side, you'll see all these people.
I know, but there was no comments in there because it was you and me.
Doesn't matter.
It shows how honed in I am on the conversation.
That's perfect because it worked out well, mate.
Yeah.
It's been a great show, and I really.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us, and everything that you guys.
I will get you back on again. I'll get you back on with your dad next time.
Yeah, beautiful.
So the three of us will be on. Right?
Beautiful.
We'll never get a word in. Your old man will keep talking then, won't he?
Oh, there you go. You must know him well.
Righto then. Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hiding you. Righto. Anyway, what a great show. Right? I'm actually going to save this one on YouTube tomorrow. Right? There'll be a bit of work on my. I'm old, right? And and I was still trying to learn all this technology. It took me weeks to actually learn how to be able to do this properly, right? So, but anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for the great comments. Russell, Bo, Jess, once again, Carol. Thanks so much for everything that you've. That she sits in the background there, and she's the one that actually brings up all the Facebook pages and the websites and everything like that. And it's great because without her, you wouldn't know where to go. I don't know where to go half the time anyhow, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, everyone, I'm going to say good night to you all. I hope you have a great rest of the week. And anyway, next week, I'm hoping to have... oh, sorry. I'm okay, mate. So, anyway, next week, I'm hoping to have... what's the name of them again? It's a Mums That Help Mums. Anyhow, that's what I know what it is, right? There are local people in the Frankston area community, and also the week I'm trying to get our local Indigenous group in here as well. So I'm hoping to get them in as well. So anyway, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to get every single candidate that's going to run for Frankston, and I am going to give them curry because I want to find out. Right, what these new candidates are going to offer Frankston and do the right thing by Frankston and work with Frankston and the people. So anyway, hope they can come. All they'll be too scared to come on and face the guru, I think. Righto, good night, everyone. See you next week. I just hope I get this to work again.